So anytime you watch a typical film project or a Nollywood project and you see a lot of Afrobeat music, not to brag, when I really run out. Never stop. Hello, my name is Unique Oliver, Music Supervisor and Licensing Executive at Spring Sound Limited. Yeah, so the role of a music supervisor can actually vary. There are instances whereby we just come in to handle the clearance of the commercial music to be used in the movie. As well, there are instances whereby we are involved in the entire movie process, right from pre-production down to the actual release of the soundtrack, if it's a soundtrack in the project. So at the production level, we are highly involved in the budgeting of the music to be used on the show. There are instances whereby there will be what we call on-camera performance, or otherwise called on-shoot performance. This is a performance involving either a music artist or anybody generally just performing music in the film itself. So what we do is to make sure that whatever music is going to be performed live. So when I use the word live, it can be a concert scene, it can be a wedding scene, music is being performed. So what we do is to make sure that the music is being cleared prior to that time. And whosoever is going to be performing the music, we can always obtain the necessary waiver. This is to ensure that we do not just use the wrong music for the right purpose or use the right music for the wrong purpose. As a music supervisor, you are supervising the music department, so clearly you are working with everybody, or you're working with a lot of people in the production chain, from the producer who gives you your budget or inform you about your budget, to the director who is the lead when it comes to the creative direction of the music, down to the editor who usually come in with the first cuts and also include a lot of temporary music, down to even the accountant whom you work when it comes to like paying out license fees. So the typical working relationship is something that you need to understand the director's vision for the music. The director may have an idea of the kind of music he wants to use, so you have to not just educate, you have to look for ways to collaborate towards achieving that vision. It's our duty as music supervisors to advise them and let them know what is the cost implication to what is also the creative implication too as well, because we've had instances whereby owners of back catalog don't just want their music being used anyhow, so they are more intentional about it. At the same time, they have music that we know that cannot be used for a lot of reasons, which can include right order issues, it can include budget, it can include them not just being open to having their music being used in film. So based on our experience, based on our knowledge of the music industry, we work with every other stakeholders to be able to advise on the kind of music to be used in a typical movie project. Yeah, most times we try as much as possible to look out for the right holders involved in the music. Most times people assume that when it comes to music selection, we just consider the name of the artist, is a popular artist, we reach out to the artist, you get the music. A lot of times it doesn't really happen that way. We have to make sure that we identify all the right holders, down to the songwriters, down to the producer, down to even the label and the publisher. So this is where the challenge is now. Because the song is popular and they assume that the artist is from Nigeria, does not necessarily mean that every other co-contributors to that song are all people that are based in Nigeria. Afrobeat is global. Songwriters, producers are different territories and they also have their rates based in these territories. So if at all we want to license it, one of the major challenges that we always face is budgets, because of the realities of these co-contributors that are domiciled in other territories outside Africa. So one of the ways we try to overcome this challenge is to always reach out to the African affiliates who understand the territory and how unique our territory is when it comes to the use of music for film, budget-wise. So they are able to provide context to it. But at the same time, there are some writers that are not affiliated to any of these African affiliates, which remains a challenge. So we as music supervisors, we identify such work and we are quick to flag it up if we don't have the budget that can be able to accommodate it. I've never had to work on a project whereby there's a deep or strict instruction that we are limited in terms of the creative use of music. So one of the things that we always do is to reach out to existing labels, reach out to existing music libraries to be able to use their music as long as it is a perfect match for music and visual. So we do not just rely on the movie streaming platforms library, but one of the things I can assure you, is that there is no strict rule that we must use whatsoever music library. So we are at liberty to select as many music libraries we want to use. What is important is having the right music that can enhance storytelling, makes the audience appreciate what we are giving to them, make the film production be proud of what they are working on. Okay, one of the things that we try to do as much as possible is to come in very, very early. So there are projects that we are as early as the first stage of post-production where editing is still offline. At that point, we make use of what we call temporary music. So while the editor is kind of editing, there's the use of temporary music to communicate the exact storytelling at each scene. So because of the temporary music, we can be able to figure out music, commercial music, that's what we call Afrobeat music, figure out commercial music that's a perfect fusion for that particular scene. So there are instances whereby we also come in very, very late after picture lock and we have very limited time. These are not instances we encourage, by the way. But in those instances, we have to leverage on what is currently available. So what we do is to engage in what we call music clearance. So we reach out to the right holders and clear those tracks. But one of the disadvantages of we coming in at that point is that in a situation whereby the tracks are not approved due to things like budget consign, things like the creative usage, one of the things we end up doing is just to replace the track with maybe a track not popular, but a track not as, I don't use the word authentic, but not as interesting as the temporary track that we had here. But yeah, so I worked on Ebuka Turns Up Africa, the current Amazon origin that was released in February 2024. We had the highest use of Afrobeat music, and it's one of the things that we really love doing. I also served as the music supervisor for The Rare, which is another amazing movie that we released in partnership with Film One Studios, working with Omoni Oboli, Jade Oshiberuto for our project Sugar Rush sequel and other projects that she's working on. We worked with Implot, providing selected tracks too for their movie Netflix original Far From Home. Hello everyone, my name is Unique Oliver, Nollywood Music Supervisor and Licensing Executive, and this is the Blue Box by Boxonia.